strategize together. Let's hear it from an expert. Join the conversation, it's informative and free. You and me, let's talk some strategy. Now here's your host, Dorien Morin-van.
And hello, everybody. My name is Dorien Morin-van. I'm here with another episode of Strategy Talks. If you're joining us on the podcast and you're listening, thank you for joining us today. If you're here and watching this on the replay, make sure to put hashtag replay in the comments if you have a question, so both my guests and I can come back and answer your questions. But to those who are here live, welcome. We are so excited you're here. Put in the comments where you are joining us from. Today, we're going to talk about repurposing content. And when I thought about this topic, I knew exactly who to ask to come on as a guest. But before I introduce him, I want to do a shout out to Social Insider, our special sponsor for Strategy Talks. They are the intuitive dashboard for social media analytics, reporting, and competitors analysis for brands and agencies. So thank you to Social Insider for sponsoring Strategy Talks every single week. And now it's time to welcome my guest, Hani. How are you today?
Hi, Dorien. I'm doing great. How are you?
That's awesome. So Hani Mura is a dad, CEO and founder of Repurpose.io, an easy-to-use automation tool that helps entrepreneurs, coaches, and content creators just like you maximize their exposure without spending hours publishing to multiple platforms. So you're saving us time.
That's it. We're going to create your content once. We're going to help you get it out to as many platforms, as many eyes, ears as possible.
That's awesome. So let's start at the beginning, Hani. How did you get started with Repurpose, and what really do you qualify as repurposing content? It's different than distributing content, right?
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, I'll give you like the 30-second background. I'm a software engineer. I've always loved software. I've always loved video. About maybe 9 years ago, I made a little tool for myself to take my YouTube videos and put them on my blog. And I'm like, hey, if it helps me, let me help others. I launched that tool out to the world, and more people loved it. And we eventually expanded from repurposing Facebooks to podcasts to YouTube videos to your blog. And then people told us, hey, we want more. We want you to go multi-platform. Take a YouTube video, put it to Instagram. Take from one platform, put it onto another. And about 5 years ago, that's how Repurpose was born.
That's awesome. So the difference between distributing something is you taking a piece of content and putting it everywhere. Repurposing is changing the format, right?
Yes. So you can go, a few examples are taking your audio podcast, turn them into little video clips that you can share on social. That's an example of repurposing. Taking a podcast, turning into a blog post and getting it transcribed. So you're changing the format, or going from a video interview into an audio podcast. So that's repurposing. You're taking the content you've already created, changing its format so people can consume it in different ways, whether it's entirety or small portions of it.
That's awesome. So you mentioned several of the platforms. And while we were in the green room, you mentioned that recently you added TikTok, right, to the platform lineup. And then you also were talking about what's coming next week. Can you tell us a little bit more about the platforms that right now people can repurpose to and from on Repurpose.io?
Absolutely. Yeah. So we work on this idea of source and destination. So where is your content living right now? And where do you want it to go? So from a source, you can repurpose content from YouTube, from Facebook or Facebook Live, from TikTok. And also, if you just have a video file sitting on your computer, you can upload it to a Google Drive or a Dropbox, and you can repurpose from there. In terms of destinations, like where can you send your little clips or full videos, or the caption video? You do a ton of stuff.
Sure.
You can publish to basically all the platforms, like LinkedIn, personal profile, LinkedIn company pages, Facebook groups, YouTube /YouTube Shorts, You can go to Instagram feed. You can go to Twitter, and you can also go. We have also tools that you can go to your WordPress blog, like I mentioned earlier, and you can go to Google Drive or Dropbox. So, for example, like you just want this clip that you want to put on your website, or you want to put it to a platform that we haven't integrated yet. You can have the little clip on your Google Drive, and you can upload it manually anywhere you want if you want.
That's great. So do you have some general tips of what type of content works well for repurposing? And then, if you have some do's and don'ts, for example, when I started repurposing content, and this is years and years ago, I would put it all out at the same time. I would like get something, a long form video. I got a little clip, and then I guess I got a little lazy and I was like, oh, I'll just put it everywhere all at the same time. So I'm sure, and now I know that's not best practice. So do you have some best practice tips for repurposing content, things you should and should not do or look out for?
Yeah, I can give you kind of a breakdown of different ideas of ways of repurposing. But before that, you just want to keep your audience in mind. And a couple of tips are in terms of platforms. Obviously, some are video platforms. YouTube must be a video. TikTok must be a video. But some platforms, you can experiment a little bit. So like LinkedIn, for example, I've experimented with videos, works well. I've experimented with just text posts as well, and those work well. So you want to experiment and mix and match. You don't want to take a video. Let's say we're doing this interview right now. It's live on LinkedIn. You don't want to take that video and upload it to YouTube right now and then upload it to Facebook right now. You want to stagger it across. So it sounds complicated, but let's say you take one single video, you create 2 or 3 clips from it. Maybe Monday, you put one clip on one platform, and then you schedule it out so that it goes on different platforms on different days. Yeah, so people can, it's essentially the same content, whether it's a written text post, like a social media post, or a quote from your interview that's in a graphic form, or a 1-minute clip. It's all coming from the same source. You're not doing a lot of extra work. You're still making your content like we're doing now, but you're scheduling it out across the week on different days so that someone who's following you on multiple platforms won't get exposed to the same content on the same day.
Right, because we do know that it takes several times for people to see your content for it to really hit home. But if you get a notification that Doreen is on this platform giving us the same content all at the same time, I don't give you a reason to keep following me on all those platforms. But if I see it Monday morning and then Tuesday night and then Wednesday afternoon, I'm like, that Doreen's everywhere. She's awesome. Might not even realize that the content is the same, but just seeing that message over and over. And I know that this is your job, but I just want to tell you that I do see your content everywhere, Hani, which is great, right? You're on LinkedIn, you're on Facebook. I see the little clips. I see your pictures. And it doesn't feel saturated. I just know you're on there a lot and understanding that you use your tool, but also if you want to reach an audience and you want them to take notice of you, repurposing content is a great way to do that.
Yeah, you want to post consistently. That's really the bottom line. How do you post consistently without having to create content every single day? And that's when the magic of repurposing happens. So I'm happy to just give you a quick overview of, like, from a high level perspective, what you can do with a single video.
Sure, let's do it. Let's do it.
Quote where I say you can turn one video into 33 pieces of content.
Let's do it.
And it's true. So let's say like we're going live on YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn.
Yeah.
You can take that full video, after you're done, download it and repurpose it onto, let's say we're going live on LinkedIn, you can take that video, put it onto YouTube.
Yeah.
So that's a full length video. You can put it on your Facebook page. That's another video. You can make clips. 1-minute clips are perfect because they work on every platform. So let's say you make 3 key points from this interview. You make 3 clips, 60 seconds each, and you can get them onto all the platforms: TikTok, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube Shorts. And then there's Facebook page, of course, Facebook groups. There's Instagram. Get them onto Instagram Reels, which is actually a more highly engaged platform than Instagram. There's Pinterest idea pins. There's Pinterest posts. There's so much you can do with that content once you have it into a 60-minute vertical clip.
All right, so let me ask you a practical question, right? Right now we're in landscape mode, right? We're on in StreamYard where I can download both the video file as well as the audio file, which is really handy when you want to, make a podcast, which is what we're doing today. So if you're listening to this, you can't see Hani, but he and I are on screen together and we're going live on LinkedIn and YouTube. But we're also repurposing this content, the audio file, to create a podcast that you are listening to right now. So if we are landscape on video, how does that work on some of the, and this is just a practical question, how does it work when you want to go, say, square on Instagram, or if you want to do vertical video?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, if there's different, it depends what you want to do, but I recommend going vertical.
Okay.
Turn that into a vertical video. But if you don't have, I mean, our tool can do that. It can take a video like this, horizontal, it can make it into a vertical.
Okay.
Add a caption on top, and also a headline on top, and also burn the captions, which help with social engagement because people can read when the sound is off. Yeah. That's one way. And our tool can do it. There's other tools out there that can do it as well. But that's one way. But honestly, if you're starting off and you feel like, I don't want to figure that piece out, just keep it horizontal. It'll still work on all the platforms. I'm all about starting, putting the content out, and then optimizing later. So if you feel like that's an overwhelming thing, I don't want to figure it out right now, no problem. Make little clips, put them as horizontal videos for now, and see how that goes. And then once you get in the habit, then you can change that later.
All right. So my next question to you is about the type of content, right? We talked about the format of the content, but what about the actual content? We have these different pillars when who are content creators. So some is educational, some is entertaining, some is informational. What kind of content have you had the most success with? And, if somebody's thinking about starting to repurpose their content, I know we have to look at the audience and what they want, but what is an easy way to get started on creating this content? What have you found has a lot of success?
Yeah, I kind of like to mix and match, like emotional content, something that connects with your audience. Something you tell a story or you share an experience that your audience will resonate with. That's good content. Educational is good content too. Like my default is always educational. That's just kind of,
okay.
I want to teach.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And it's great, but you need to mix it up. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, connect with your audience, mix it up, tell stories, share experiences, share wins, share losses, because you're real. You're a human running a business that not everyone's going to be succeeding all the time. Right? That's not real. And then share tips, but just keep each video or each clip focus on one type of content. So if you're creating long videos like an interview, and I tell a story here, that's a 1 minute clip of emotional connection with your audience.
All right. So then comes the next question, right?
Mm-hmm.
Once you are getting the hang of repurposing, it sounds like it might be a really good idea to have a script ready, right? Because
doing interviews especially.
Right. So you have a script and you ask specific questions.
Mm-hmm.
Then whether you're repurposing it or you have an assistant or a video editor, and you're very succinct about, this is question 1, this is question 2, this is question 3. So thinking ahead and scripting out what you're doing in your long form content is going to help you repurpose. Am I right about that?
Yes. If you plan ahead, you'll know, you can almost guarantee 1, 2, or 3 or 5 different clips, just because you know that this question is going to trigger an emotional or a story, and this question is going to trigger a tip. Here's a great tip on how to do this. Then you'll at least know the structure of the video, and then your editor or yourself, if you're making your clips, you'll know in the beginning I'm going to get a story, in the middle I'm going to get a tip, etc. So that's definitely planning it. Whether you're doing interviews or doing your own videos, definitely planning it out will help you repurpose it later. Absolutely.
All right. And should you, I guess now I'm thinking, should you name them tip 1, 2, 3, 4? Or is that just like, here's a tip?
I feel like the headline, like if you're watching here on LinkedIn, you see the headline, repurposing the heck out of your content. You want the content to have a headline like that when you share that clip. So when people are scrolling, most people don't read or maybe can't even see the title of your video, your post description. All they see is the big video on LinkedIn or wherever they're scrolling. And that big text across the screen is going to be like, oh, is this relevant to me or not? So that title has to be as part of your video, and it has to be kind of teasing what the tip is. So you don't want to say tip 1, tip 2.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Itself.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense too. Let me ask you about branding, right? So, I've branded strategy talks. Normally my brand is very orange, but I've added green to my orange. So when my pieces of content get repurposed, it's very clear with the branding. Is that something you recommend? Is that something you have to have before you start repurposing? Can you do your branding along the way? I mean, there's going to be people that are like, oh, I don't have my brand ready. Can they just start with a video and figure stuff out along the way? I just want to empower people to think about repurposing, not as a hard thing, but a thing to make, to save you time and make it easier. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, you obviously are branded, repurpose. You've got your shirt, you've got your hat. I am branded. I'm orange. I've got all my branding, but that might be intimidating to somebody who's just getting started. What can you say to somebody who's just getting started, might not have their brand figured out? How can they get started with that?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be perfectly honest. We never, I just kind of made up when we launched Repurpose about 5 years ago. It's like, all right, here's the logo, here's the software. Let's get it out to as many people. It's the same, whatever you're doing, your coaching program, whatever you're doing, get it out, get feedback. The branding is important, but you need to, don't worry about that in the beginning. I'm always this philosophy of get started, and then optimize. Don't try to optimize and then you end up delaying things by 6 months or a year. I think about a year ago, we did a official rebrand, or I guess not a rebrand, I guess official brand, the first time brand. In terms of, we changed the software, colors, way it looks, we're consistent on social media. But with the first 4 years or 3.5 years, we were still doing fine, right? So it's important, have a logo or something that you use consistently, but don't worry about it. Just get in the habit of creating content. If you like interview styles, once a week is enough.
Okay.
If you feel like, oh, I don't have any guests, so I don't like to talk for a long time, do short form. I've been playing with short form content. Like I literally do a 60-second video or less on TikTok, sharing one little tip. And I use that across all my other platforms as well. So you don't have to repurpose long content into short. You can go create short and distribute that to all your other platforms as well.
All right. So let me ask you a practical question about TikTok, because I know there's people watching that are interested in that. So you actually go to the TikTok platform, create the video there, and then with your tool, you can take it from TikTok and put it other places?
Absolutely, yeah.
Wow.
So I do video, TikTok, boom, 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 boom. And then I have it automatically go to Twitter, to LinkedIn, to Facebook, to YouTube Shorts, and Instagram. So if I keep it under 60 seconds on TikTok, they try to tease you. They say, oh, you can go up to 10 minutes now, 3 minutes. But it's a little tip here when you're doing short form content. The percentage of the video that you watch is important. So the shorter it is, and you're still delivering value, of course, and they only watch the first 30 seconds, but the 30 seconds out of 60 seconds is half the video versus the first 30 seconds out of a 10-minute video is whatever percent that is.
Yeah,
so,
very small.
Yeah, so keep it at a minute.
Yeah.
It seems hard at first, like what can I teach in a minute or what can I share in a minute? But once you do it, it's actually, a minute is a long time.
All right. So I love this last tip that you gave. Just do it, right? So people that are watching it just want to, and are listening to this podcast, Hani is saying, just get started. If you are already on TikTok and you want to start repurposing, just do that. Keep your videos under 60 seconds, get this tool. And Hani, this is a great time to tell people you have a free trial.
Yes, you can publish 10 videos for free and just get a feel for how our platform works. And there's no limit on the number of content you can publish on a given plan. But for the free trial, you can publish 10 from any platform I talked about, from YouTube. If you have YouTube content, you can just go in and say publish a video 2 years ago. You can take that, repurpose it, entire thing, or small clips. If you have TikToks from 2 years ago, you can repurpose those. So you don't have to even make new content. You go in, you set up the software, you see all your content on TikTok or YouTube or Facebook, wherever you want to repurpose from. It's already there. Click a button, drag a couple of sliders, hit publish, and watch those videos go on different platforms and test.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. I've got 3 rapid fire questions for you. No pressure. So emails or conversations?
Conversations.
Start work late or leave work early?
Start work late.
Okay. Speed or accuracy?
Speed for the most part.
Okay. Awesome. Well, how can people connect with you, Hani?
I'm on social media. You can look us up at Repurpose.io, or my personal is Hani Mora. Whether it's Twitter, YouTube, they're all the same handle at Hani Mora.
Okay.
And yeah.
Awesome. So if you're watching this or you've watched this on the replay, or you were here live and you have content that you created a year ago, 6 months ago, 2 years ago, that you haven't used, if you've only used it on one platform, go test Repurpose.io. I can tell you that myself and my team are using the tool to repurpose this show, right? And get little clips and, post it on different platforms. And it's a great way to save time, but also to really serve your audience on the different platforms. It makes it easier. Also, if you have a long video like this, which is about 20 minutes, I think we're going to go over just by a minute or two today, you then can take the best part of this video and then give people that 60-second tease to come watch the whole video. So I want to thank you, Hani, for being here today and talking about repurposing the heck out of content. I hope people will come to your tool and try it out for themselves. I'll be back next week with another guest every Tuesday at 10. And I just want to thank you again for listening. If you were here on the podcast, thank you to Social Insider for sponsoring us. And I'll be back next week. See you later, everybody.